Hello children, I hope you are all happy and safe. Welcome to this special English hour. Here, every day, we will learn something new in a fun and interesting way. Are you ready to have fun? Then come, let's begin our day with a dance. Please stand up and join me in a dance.
All these animals in the zoo, all day long, what do they do? Walk, talk, study, no, they dance. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the snakes dance? They wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle and wiggle. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the penguins dance? They waddle. Waddle, waddle, waddle and waddle. All these animals in the zoo, how do you think do the elephants dance? They sway. Sway, sway, sway and sway.
Children, now I would like to ask you a few questions. Let us share our thoughts and ideas. Children, can you name a few animals that you commonly find in your surrounding? Birds, dogs, cats, monkeys are some of the animals we commonly find in our surroundings. Children, can you mention some of the qualities these animals have? Dogs are known for their loyalty. Cats are known for keeping themselves neat and clean. Children, what is the relation human beings hold with animals? Some animals have always been friends with human beings. For example, dogs are known as man's best friend. For years, man has found a friend in animals. And animals too like to be a part of human families. Many people have cats and dogs as their pets. They take real good care of them and treat them almost like a family member. Children, today I would also like to share with you a story about the beautiful relation between man and an animal. Children, while learning a language, it is very important that we keep learning new words. Now, I would like to share with you a few new words. Please listen to me carefully and note them down in your notebook. We will come across these words in the lesson that we'll be reading today. The first word is courteous. 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 The second word is wicked, wicked, wicked. Third word, piteously, piteously, piteously. Fourth word, summoning, summoning, summoning. Fifth word, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Sixth word, whipped, whipped, whipped. So children, the new words we learnt today are courteous, wicked, piteously, summoning, gratitude, and whipped. Children, please look out for these words in the lesson that we'll be reading today and try to guess their meaning. Children, we will be reading a lovely lesson today. The title of the lesson is Androcles and the Lion. If you have a textbook, please open to page number 68 and point to the words as I read. If you don't have a textbook, please see your TV screens and listen to me carefully. Androcles and the Lion. Long, long ago, there lived a kind, gentle, and courteous man called Androcles. But he had a very cruel master. In those days, kings, nobles, and other wealthy men used poor people as their slaves. Androcles was a slave. The slaves were forced to work for their masters. They had to do what their masters told them. They had no freedom, no rights. Even when they were unhappy with their master, they could not leave him. They were bound by law to obey their master, however wicked he might be. So children, what is this story about? This story is about a man named Androcles. Who was Androcles? Androcles was a very kind and courteous man, but he was a slave. Do you know who is a slave? A slave is a person who is bound to work for his master. During olden days, rich and wealthy people, kings and noblemen had slaves. Slaves were forced to work for their masters. They had to always obey whatever their masters said. Even if their master was wicked, they could not leave their master. Androcles also had a very wicked master and did not want to stay with him. But because Androcles was a slave, he had no rights, no freedom. He had to live with his master and obey his orders. Androcles did not like his wicked master. His master starved his slaves and often whipped them. Androcles felt that even death was better than serving such a master. He kept looking out for a good opportunity At the first chance he got, he escaped from the clutches of his cruel master. Now, although Androcles had thus run away, he was not a coward. He took shelter in a forest. He was not afraid of the wild beasts that roamed the forest. He did not mind that he had no roof over his head. He was happy that he was free as a bird to go wherever he wished. One day, as he was wandering in the forest, he suddenly came face to face with a lion. His first reaction was to turn and flee, but then he saw that the lion had not moved on seeing him. It neither growled nor roared. In fact, it looked at him piteously, as if it was in great pain. Androcles paused. Then he moved very cautiously towards the lion. Step by step, the lion moaned and whimpered. Please help me, its eyes seemed to say. One day, Androcles was wandering in the forest when suddenly he saw a lion in front of him. At first, Androcles was about to turn and flee, but then he paused for a moment. He noticed that the lion did not roar, nor did it growl. It didn't even move. Androcles very cautiously moved towards the lion. Then it saw that the lion was in great pain. It moaned and whimpered, and its eyes seemed to say, please help me. When Androcles drew near, the lion lowered its head and began to lick its paw. Then Androcles saw that the lion's paw was wounded, sore, and swollen. On a closer look, Androcles noticed that a big thorn had pierced one of the lion's toes. So, this is the cause of the lion's distress, thought Androcles. Summoning up all his courage, Androcles stretched his hand slowly towards the injured paw. He was afraid that the lion would attack him if he touched its swollen paw. But the lion seemed to understand his good intention. When Androcles moved closer towards the lion started licking its paw. Androcles saw the lion's paw. It was wounded, swollen, and sore. Androcles saw that a thorn had pierced through the lion's toes, and it was in great distress and pain. Androcles took the lion's paw in his hand. At first, he thought that the lion may attack him, but the lion seemed to understand Androcles' good intention, that he was only trying to help him. Androcles took the paw in his left hand. Deftly, he pulled out the thorn. Then, tearing a piece of his own clothing, the kind man bound up the lion's injured paw. To his surprise and wonder, the lion then licked his arm as if to show gratitude. Androcles remained with the lion till it could walk again. He would hunt in the forest and share his food with the helpless beast. Every day he would clean and dress the lion's wound. Soon the lion was able to move about. Many times it followed Androcles wherever he went. In the meanwhile, Androcles' master had complained to the authorities that his slave Androcles had run away. Soldiers were sent in all directions to capture Androcles. They searched for him high and low, but couldn't find him. At last, they came to the forest where Androcles lived. Androcles lived with the lion till it could walk again. Androcles would go out and hunt and share his food with the helpless beast. Every day, Androcles would clean and dress the lion's wound. After some time, the lion's wound healed and he could move again. Many a times, the lion would go behind Androcles and follow him around in the forest. Meanwhile, Androcles' wicked master had complained to the authorities against him that his slave had run away. The authorities kept searching for Androcles everywhere, and finally, one day they came to the forest where Androcles lived. It so happened that Androcles had gone out alone that day while the lion rested near the cave. Both of them fell into the hands of the soldiers. The soldiers took them back to the city. They put Androcles in chains in a prison. The lion was caged. In those days, people who were found to be guilty of a serious crime were fed to wild beasts as punishment. Running away from one's master was a very serious crime at that time. Therefore, Androcles too was to be thrown to the wild beasts. One day, Androcles went wandering by himself while the lion rested near the cave. The soldiers caught both of them. Androcles was put behind bars and the lion was caged. In those days, running away from one's master was a very serious crime, and the punishment for it was very severe. People were thrown to be eaten by wild beasts. Androcles was also given the same punishment. On the appointed day, the emperor arrived at the circus and took his place. The crowds cheered loudly. The trumpeters blew the trumpet and Androcles was brought into the arena. His chains were unbound. He felt weak and dismayed. He was certain that this was the last day of his life. At the opposite end, a gate was raised and a ferocious lion was released into the arena. It had been kept hungry to make it more ferocious. Androcles was filled with fear, but he put up a brave front. The lion saw Androcles and rushed towards him, bounding and roaring. But suddenly it stopped in its tracks. Then it moved slowly forward. All its rage seemed to have melted. Androcles saw this too. Each friend recognized the other. The final day arrived, and the emperor sat at his seat at the circus. Androcles was brought in the arena, and his chains were unbound. Androcles felt weak and dismayed. He knew it was the last day of his life. At the other end of the arena, a cage gate was raised. A lion came out of it, a ferocious lion. It bounded towards Androcles. Androcles was very scared, but he put up a brave front. Slowly, the lion that was bounding towards Androcles stopped in its tracks. It paused for a moment and then moved slowly towards Androcles and lowered its head. Each friend recognized the other. It was the same lion that Androcles had helped in the forest. To everyone's amazement, the lion bounded towards Androcles again. But when it reached him, it began to purr and rub its nose against him. Androcles hugged the lion. He wept with relief and joy. The audience, including the emperor, watched this tender sight in great wonder. People began to cheer Androcles and asked for his release. The emperor asked Androcles to explain the lion's strange behavior. When he heard the whole story, the emperor was also moved by the gratitude and friendship between man and beast. He ordered that Androcles should be set free. He would no longer be a slave. When the emperor asked Androcles what other reward he would like, Androcles replied that he did not want anything for himself, but he wanted the lion to be set free too. The two friends went back to the forest to live a free life. The lion started purring and rubbed its nose against Androcles in affection. Androcles was also relieved and had tears of joy in his eyes. The audience was amazed at this tender sight. Even the emperor. The audience cheered for Androcles to be released. The emperor called Androcles and asked about the lion's reaction. When he heard the whole story about Androcles and the lion, the emperor was very pleased to hear their relation of friendship and gratitude. He set Androcles free and asked him if he wanted any other reward. Androcles said he wanted nothing but just the lion as well to be set free. Children, let's do an activity now. In this activity, we will learn the meanings of a few phrases and also try to form sentences using these phrases. On your screens, you will see one column with phrases and the other column with their meanings. You have to match the phrase with its correct meaning. Then, try to make simple sentences using these phrases. Okay? Would you like to give this a try? Then come, let's begin. Children, come, let's match the phrases with their meanings. Face to face means close together and facing each other. Second, high and low means in many different places. Draw near means to come closer, to approach. To everyone's amazement means great surprise or wonder. Children, let's try to form simple sentences using these phrases. The teacher and the student stood face to face. The police searched high and low for the thief. Sam was scared on seeing the lion draw near. To everyone's amazement, Rita sang beautifully. Children, I hope you like this activity. Children, I hope you all enjoyed today's session. I would now request you all to please make some time and share this story with your friends and family. Children, till we meet next time, please take care. Bye bye and stay safe.